Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Say something when you in there.
Back like we never left.
Mm-hmm.
It's, it's been a minute.
Man, it's been over since we got on the boys' head in the Super Bowl.
Man, I had to make sure I got all the confetti off my shirt.
Boy,
You know,
still finding confetti in his socks.
in my ears. It's in my ears.
Yes,
But for
sir.
those of you who don't know, welcome back to the Down South Philly show.
Yes, sir. We in the
I'm
building.
your co-host DP. Got my boy Dom in the
Yes,
building.
sir. Your other
And it's
co-host,
real
Dom.
simple tonight. It's real simple tonight. We got to talk about this draft, man. We got to talk about how we feeling about this draft. We're gonna go through every pick. Um, we're gonna make it do what it do. You're gonna tell me how you feel about it, and at the very end, we're gonna give our draft grade. Um, it's a lot that's happened since the last time we didn't recorded, but we don't have to go through all that in this one. This one we just gonna hit this draft and see how you feeling. But before we get in depth with everything, give me a brief overview of how you feel about the draft.
Man, just a brief overview, man. Look, going into the draft, man. Um, Different from prior years is because like going into the draft other years, it was like you knew exactly what we needed. Okay, we need some corners. All right, we need defense end. All right, we need wide receivers. But going into the draft this year was a little bit different because, um, yeah, we did lose. Some guys on defense. Not really. Nothing to be concerned about. Nothing where I really felt like anything was like a big hole where I was like going into the draft. All right, we gotta get this. Now it was some guys that I wanted, but it wasn't nothing like I felt like was a big need. And then also by us winning the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl in the fashion that we did, it's kind of like because if you're not the team that won, if you lost the Super Bowl or any other than them teams, like, all right, we lost to the Eagles because of this, or we lost the playoff game like because of this, or we didn't get to the Super Bowl because of this or whatever, or we didn't make the playoffs. We need to tighten these areas up. But by the way, we dominated like the whole playoff run and the Super Bowl. It was like anything we get gonna pretty much just like be a bonus. You know what I'm saying? And we had a pretty decent, um, free agency all season. So it was like going into the draft. It was just some guys that I wanted. Nothing major other than maybe safety. I kind of was like leaning towards safety a little bit just because CJ was gone. But my expectations for the draft was really I knew we was gonna go defense just because we lost mostly guys on defense, and I'm not too concerned about it because of Howie's track record, and because I know anybody he picked was gonna be signed off by Fangio, and I believe in Fangio, so um, that's really how I felt going into the draft, and then the draft itself overall, man, I liked it. Like I said, it wasn't really nothing to hate on other than how he could have botched that first pick and picked something crazy like a kicker or something. Like I mean, it wasn't too. He really couldn't go wrong. So yeah, and then like to get who we got, I'll never understand why certain players drop in the draft just because of an injury. Is like it's not a career in the injury. This guy is gonna heal. He is probably gonna play a long time in the NFL, and and that one injury is not gonna be the reason why like it stops him from playing. So I don't know why people let players fall in the draft that don't have like major injuries or some kind of career in it or something similar. You know what I'm saying? Something crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, man, I like the draft. I feel like we couldn't go wrong. And then usually with Howie, you kind of know like after the first two picks, just like last year, first two picks, it was a wrap. Everything else after
Mhm.
that was kind of like icing on top. Same thing this year. After the first two picks, it was like, all right, whatever you do after this, Howie, hey, it is what it is. So
Then he kept cooking.
yeah, for sure.
He kept cooking. But yeah, I feel the same way you did. Like coming into this, I'm thinking we already fed off the Super Bowl. so it ain't really too much. And not only that, it's not really, in my opinion, too many holes that we need to fill. Obviously, we lost some key contributors from the Super Bowl, but you just can't keep everybody with the salary cap. So I knew coming into it, one of our goals was going to be to get younger on the defensive side of the ball because we pretty much straight on offense. Um, if we were to get like one of the guys that we had our eyes on, I figured we was gonna have to give up like a Dallas Goddard or something like that. So even though I didn't want to give up a Goddard, I would have been okay with it if we'd have came out with, like a Walter Nolan
Man,
or a Starks or something like that. I would have understood it. Didn't really see anybody in the draft that could necessarily replace a Dallas Goedert and what he's done for us, but we also know his injury history. But when he on the field, ain't really too many tight ends that I'm gonna put before him. But with that being said, we get into the draft and the first pick, right out the gate, we just start seeing all the players we want get snatched up. And it's becoming evident, okay, I already figured that we weren't gonna get Jalen Walker. I didn't think we would get down low enough to get him. Possible Nolan, but he ended up going, way earlier than we could have even.
way
So
early.
so that wasn't even a possibility. But
Jalen Walker
Malachi
lasted a
Stark,
good little bit,
he did. He got to like
20 something, I
what?
think.
It was Malachi. Malachi got to like 21,
Yeah.
21, 24, something like that. And of course, who got us again? But the daggone Ravens. They snagged us again because I
Hey,
I, I wanted Hamilton,
yeah, I
but
like how the Ravens draft. I like how they draft.
yeah, they always end up getting the dog that we actually end up wanting. But by the time it got to like the back end and they was acting like they wasn't gonna trade with Howie, I'm gonna be real. I didn't coming into the draft, I didn't really have my eyes on Jihaad Campbell, but on the back end, after looking into him, hey, he a dog.
For
Glad
sure.
he fell to us.
Same.
He of course he come from Alabama pedigree, so you can't really go wrong with that with an Alabama player, linebacker. He ended up being, prospected to be a top 15 pick. Only reason he failed was, like you said, because of the injuries. Obviously, he had just had the shoulder injuries and evidently maybe some knee injury as well. But at the end of the day, I'm not too concerned about it. If they was confident enough to take him in the first round, I'm gonna let Howie cook. Howie, like you said, Howie ain't too much let us down in like 4 years. So at this point, I feel like he in a nice little rhythm, and he gonna take basically the best player there. So what we looking at? He a versatile linebacker with elite athleticism, and then Vic gonna get him right. I trust Vic. Vic is pretty much the equivalent to anybody that Jeff Stoutland signed off on. You just
Mm.
know he gonna get him right. Um, he could be a day one starter. The only reason he probably couldn't be is if he's still hurt. Ain't nothing
Yep.
you can do about that. But
Right.
if he's able to, get stuff cleaned up by the time August, September roll around, he probably be starting while Nolan slowly come back. So that's gonna give Nolan the chance
You
to
talking
not
about
have to
Dean?
rush back.
Talking
Yeah,
about
that's it.
you talking about Dean?
Nakobe. Not yeah, Nakobe. That's gonna give Nakobe some time to rest up and not have to rush back. So I'm loving that pick. Tell me how you feel about Jihad.
Man, same. Just like you said, I wasn't really looking into him. I didn't know nothing about him. So for me, like leading up to the draft, I kind of was just looking because I'm thinking like it ain't nothing we probably like really need, but we probably would probably grab a safety. I was thinking we would either grab a safety or somebody on the defensive line. So I leading up to the draft, and then I didn't really look into a lot of players like I usually do. I kind of just looked into a few players that I thought might be around that pick. So I looked into some guys at the safety position, and I looked into some guys on the defensive line a little bit. Fell in love with Walter Nolan, and I was just hoping he fell to us. Like I seen, man, that man, he actually was the very first person I saw because they had like a little mock draft out, and I was like, Walter Nolan to the Eagles. I was like, hell, it's Walter Nolan. Why they got him mocked to the Eagles? Let me go look this dude up. And I went to go watch this film. Then I watched some interviews. I was like, man, I don't want nobody else but Walter Nolan. I'm talking about he's the first. I was like, yeah, we gotta get him. And but as I was paying attention to like the draft and stuff people were saying, I was like, yeah, his stock rising. He gonna be gone. I was like, there's no way he lasts, and it's no way because I just felt like people talked about him so much, and then he visited the Eagles and like it didn't even like get reported or whatever. So I know teams probably looking at it like, yeah, the Eagles trying to get him. And then boom, there he go. He go to the Cardinals. So I was like, man, that ain't nothing by Gannon trying to doggone one get his Jalen Carter, two trying to get at the Eagles. But anyway, man, as far as Jihaad, man, I looked into him like once we got him. I was like, oh yeah, we got us one. Then like I didn't realize like a lot of people were saying he was the best linebacker in the class, like in the draft.
That's crazy.
I was looking at this film. I was listening to some of his interviews. I like his personality. I like the way he played the game. He approached the game. I really liking dude a lot. I'm kind of mad that situations like this when a guy's like a little banged up and they fall to you and you get him. It's kind of like, dang, I hate he hurt. But then you be like, well, if he wasn't hurt, you know what I'm saying?
We
We
wouldn't
probably
got
wouldn't
him.
have got him. So, it is what it is. It'll pan out in the end. What people got to understand is like this is a long game. Like he get healthy this season, get through the rest of this season, lead the season healthy and get a healthy off season. Man, we'll forget all about he came in injured. He started balling out, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
water under the bridge. But I like Jihaad Campbell, man. I like him. After like I said, after I watched this film and stuff like that, I like his personality. He from the area. We always getting guys who like from the area. I think that does well for like the way they want to play for the team, what they bring to the locker room, just different stuff like that, man. I think we got a lot of good locker room guys, and they also great players though.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. Shout out to the Eagles Nest. Go Birds. I think it's easy for us to, as fans, to kind of get like how it can spoil you as an Eagles fan because he do
Mm.
so much great that at a certain point you just expect it. So obviously, we didn't get a big name. Um, we got a big name, but it wasn't one of the ones that was like our first choice. Only because I didn't look into Jihad. Had I looked into
Mhm.
Jihad, I would have been a little more excited. Like
Mhm.
as soon as the pick was made. But shoot,
Mhm.
I'm good now.
Right.
Then we come on day 2. We started off by picking up the safety out of Texas, Andrew Makuba. Again, a guy that ended up being a top safety in the draft. Wasn't super sexy when we first picked it to me, but another one of those guys where you go back, you look at the tape, and you see exactly why we got him. He one of those ones that kind of failed to us again. His game kind of reminds me of a young CJ, so he kind of fit what we trying to do. So obviously it's impossible to project exactly how good a player is gonna be. But I definitely like that pick too. Tell me how you feel about Makuba so far.
Man, look, the safety position in general is one of my favorite positions. For me, it's like running back, and then my second favorite position is probably like safety. So I'm always like looking at safeties and stuff like that. And man, I didn't really know who he was. But like same thing, I went to go look him up, and I was like, we got us one. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Cause one thing about it is when I see that talent and I see the way you play the game and I see your heart, I know Fangio gonna get the rest out of you. I know Fangio gonna get the rest out of you. So it's a wrap. Only thing that can hurt him now is himself. And
Mm-hmm.
in the way that the mentality that he got, I think he gonna be exactly what we're looking for. He also remind me of like Sidney Brown, like
Mm-hmm.
that the way they play the game. So I'm like, bro,
Yeah, man.
they gonna have to slow them boys down at practice. Like them the type of players you gotta got that. Hey, bro, this ain't that type of practice today. Like they them type of guys. So I think we're gonna have some interesting stories coming out of camp from him and Sidney Brown battling for that safety position. And that's what you want. You wanted to bring the
Mhm.
best out of him. Hey, may the best man win the job. If Sidney Brown get it, Sidney Brown get it. But it is what it is. But I do like the dude. I looked at his tape, man. He balling. He remind me of CJ GJ, just like you said. And a lot of times people hate making comparisons, but like when I hear comparisons, to me, I'm not comparing them as like they gonna have that type of career. To me, it just means they have that type of playing style. So
Game, yeah.
yeah, so it's just a playing style. Like if somebody was like, "Oh yeah, he remind me of Ray Lewis," to me, that's not them saying that he gonna be Ray Lewis. It's just playing style, or maybe their mentality, or maybe both. But yeah, he reminds me of CJ GJ a lot. And I'm glad we got him. I was looking into him. It seems like a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but it seems like some people even had him as like their number one safety. And then some people had him as the number one safety that the Eagles should take. So, um, I think he a good fit.
I think one of the knocks that they said coming out was obviously his size, which I'm not worried about
It
because
was seem like
one,
the only knock.
yeah, they say it's his size, but you remember they were saying that about Smitty, and Smitty
Mm-hmm.
played like one of the biggest wide receivers in the game.
For sure.
Also, they question his tackling ability, which I didn't really see. I didn't watch enough tape to see that, but
Right.
from what I saw, he was just coming downhill, and
Yeah.
that's what I can get behind. Like you trying to come down here. Well, I don't want my safety to have to make a whole bunch of open field tackles because this the
Exactly.
NFL. It's hard to make open field tackles. I don't care who you are.
Right.
But are you willing to come down here and stuff to run? That's what I want to see. And so far, it looked like he gonna be that willing kind of tackler. So come on to Philly with that attitude.
Hey, just like last year when them boys started messing up tackling after that Bucks game, you see how they cleaned that tackling up.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he got going wrong, we gonna clean it up.
Yep.
And that's one thing that it seems like a lot of, like when you hear analysts and certain people talking about the game on TV or online, it seems like they fail to realize like these players coming out of college, they are gonna develop because they'll be like, yeah, he misses tackles or he does this. Okay, that's what coaching is for. You get the talent that you're looking for and you coach up everything else that's coachable. You was tackling like this in college, but hey, boy, this the big leagues. We want you to woody woot X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
they always making it seem like whatever this player is coming out of college, that's what they get. No, it's if you a real coach, you can clean up certain stuff, and that's something they clean that up.
Man,
If he is missing tackles,
right. I ain't
so
worried
they
about that
claim.
because
I ain't worried.
everybody gotta have something to work on anyway.
Right,
So like you
exactly.
said, if it is an issue, we'll clean that up in camp and he'll be
Mhm.
ready to go and
Yep,
compete. But I couldn't wait to get to this next dude. So this is our fourth round pick, number 111,
this might be my
D
favorite.
tackle out of Nebraska.
Oh nah.
Big Ty Robinson, the
That
vanilla
right.
gorilla.
Yeah.
That boy is a monster.
I
It
was
was
checking. I
reported
ain't
that
get to
he
looking. I looked into him a little bit, but I gotta watch some more. I watched a little
man,
bit on him.
you gotta go back and watch that tape. Yeah, he after this one of the ones where it's like he don't have no injury concerns. He a high motor guy.
Yeah,
He Cam Jurgens played not Cam yeah,
yeah, they
Cam
played
Jurgens
together.
played
Cam
with him
Jurgens.
at Nebraska.
Yeah, I seen that.
So he already, co-signed him. Just going back and looking at his film, he actually I'm not gonna say he like we said earlier, I'm not gonna say he played like him, but he remind me of JJ Watt. The stature that he got power. He one of the fastest D tackles in the whole out of the whole draft class, which
No,
don't
I
really
didn't know
mean
that.
much. Oh yeah. He ran a 4.8 and he over 300 4.8. Yeah, 4.8. Did he run a 4.8 or 5.8? Probably a 4.8. Either way, no, it was a 4.8.
It
But
had to be.
yeah, it was a 4.8. But as a D tackle, he was moving. Over 300 pounds. Yeah, JJ Watt. Appreciate that, Mogul. Um, man, just a monster at the D tackle position. And just as soon as you watch the tape, like it's easy to fall in love with a guy like that and you can definitely see him having a role
Right.
in this defense like day one. And that's the kind of players you want. He could be a blue chip player,
The
you
Mogul
know.
podcast 4-8.
Throw
He
him
said
in.
they said 4-8.
Appreciate you, Mogul. But yeah, he run a 4.8. He can play any position on the D line from the three technique.
Yeah, I
You can
ain't
put him
looking
in the
into him enough
two.
yet.
You can put him
You
at the
tell you telling me
5.
some stuff.
Man, this dude is the
I
truth.
looked
I'm
at him a
telling you.
little bit, but I ain't get to look into him like I want to yet.
And plus, he got a wrestling background, so that always help when you're in the
Yeah, for
trenches.
sure. Nah, they
So
helping. Boy, that wrestling background helping a lot of sports, boy.
facts,
I need,
facts.
I need to, I need to go get some wrestling in. Eh? Just,
Hey,
just, just because it's gonna help with something.
I could definitely see him being one of them rotational pieces day one
Yeah,
though,
for sure.
and potentially a starter, depending on what we do with Jordan Davis like next year. But we don't even have to worry about that. He just one of them. So far, with our top three picks, I can definitely see them having like instant impact from
Hey,
the first snap if they're healthy.
let me ask you this though. So third round, we traded back. How did you feel about that?
I was a little frustrated because it was some names out there that
Yeah,
I wanted.
yeah.
It was some names out there. I was like, what you doing? They right here. They right here.
Me too. Me too. That's why I asked.
I was like, come on, Howie. But then I remember last year he kept killing me because he
Yeah,
he
he
had
did.
like eight trades and he kept trading back. I was like, man, this player here, this player right here.
Hey, you
Uh
remember when he did it last year? We was waiting to get Trotter, so we was like, bro, he gonna be
yeah,
gone.
yeah. I just knew we was gonna miss out on Trotter while he
Yeah,
kept trading back. But
yeah,
hey, Howie know what he doing, his team know what they doing, and somehow the players that we want, or not necessarily the players that we want, but the players that we need fall
yeah.
exactly how
It be
they
the
need to
players we don't
fall.
even really know,
Mm-mm.
and then they end up being somebody. We be like, that's that pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So yeah, when he traded back our third round pick, I was pissed. I ain't gonna lie. But
yeah. It was some
seeing
it
who he
was some
picked
safeties
up,
on the board, Mogul. I was thinking the same thing.
facts. It was some safeties on the board because even up to that point, I'm thinking we could get maybe a Jalen Reed. Um,
That's who I wanted. I wanted to
yeah,
get Jalen Reed before he got off the board, bro.
it was Jalen Reed, and then there was another safety that Nick. Well, Nick was he got gone on
Yeah,
day two,
yeah, day
but
two.
I wanted Nick. I wanted Nick, and I wanted or Jalen Reed, something like that. But how you feel about our fourth round pick that we ended up getting, Ty Robinson?
Nah, I mean, just from what I saw, I like him. And then like I said, and I'm gonna keep going back to this. If Fangio sign off on him, I'm good with it. And I know if
Can't
we
go
got
wrong.
him, and I know if we got him, we didn't get him without Howie talking to Fangio. Um, so
Mogul
I'm
said
good
Reed
with it. I
Watts.
know, I know, I know whatever we got. I know whatever he got, Fangio and them boys gonna get it out of him.
Hmm.
Clint Hurt, all them boys. I know they gonna get. I know they gonna get whatever he got in his body, whatever he gonna put on that field. They gonna get it out of him. And then you on the field, you in the room with some dogs, so you ain't gonna want to let them down. I can't be the weak man on the line.
Facts.
So that right there gonna, you know what I'm saying, push you. And you trying to make the team. So I'm good with it. Do we sign Jordan Davis? Um, I'll pick up that fifth year option.
Yeah, I always have been high on Jordan Davis. Even when, it seemed like a lot of Philly Nation wanted him to have 8 sacks coming out the gate. I think you and I pretty much share similar viewpoints when it comes to all our players. You got to give them time to develop.
Yeah.
And in his case, that's what it was. He just needed time to develop. He was strong and bigger than most people, but his conditioning wasn't straight. And then he ended up getting hurt his first year. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
you got an injury, that's gonna push back any momentum that you had before the injury. So I saw enough from him his freshman, his rookie year to be like, yeah, we got us one. And he a nose tackle. He ain't supposed to have gaudy numbers. Can you my biggest thing with a nose tackle is can you stuff the run? Can you can you generate a little bit of a pass rush when needed? But at the end of the day, he gonna end up being double teamed and triple teamed a lot of the time. So
Hey, let me
I ain't
say, because
expecting him to have no 5 to 6 sacks.
the Mogul podcast said even with Baby Rhino and Vanilla Gorilla. So this is my thing on rookies, because Ty Robinson to be a rookie. Like we like what we see out of him, but I don't really like. We got expectations kinda for him, but we don't know what he gonna do when at the NFL level. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I can't, because I seen somebody else, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I saw somebody else earlier was saying like, um, he could be taking Ty Robinson could be taking Milton Williams role. I
Nah.
mean, maybe. I'm not gonna say he not, but I'm not gonna just out the gate just say, you know what I'm saying? It even took
Mhm.
Milton Williams to become Milton Williams. He went Milton Williams went like, now I like Milton Williams out the gate,
Day
but
one.
yeah, I like him day one, but he wasn't well, I like Milton Williams after I seen him. Like when he started playing, he used to always flash, just like Sweat.
Mhm. Just like Sweat.
Like if we had a podcast when we first got Josh Sweat, I swear I would have probably been the only bro. I was in love with Josh. I was like, wow, this man
Nah, he
just
was
get on the
killing in
field.
the preseason.
Yeah, even like in regular games when they used to just put him in like in rotation, because he'd get a few snaps a game. He used to always flash, and I used to be like, man, bro, this dude Josh Sweat got to get. And then that right before he got his contract, that's when he kind of like went off, and I was like, yeah, we about to pay him now. But I had been on Josh Sweat train or whatever. But anyway, back to the Ty Robinson thing. We gotta wait and see what's up with him, man. We like what we see, but we gotta wait and see what's up. I'm not fast to like jump on a player bandwagon, but I ain't fast to like try to throw somebody to the curb either. Like I let players develop. Same thing with Nolan. A lot of people want to get rid of Nolan. Well, not get rid of Nolan, but everybody want to hate on Nolan. I'm like, bro, get a man some time. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I understand that players
Yep.
got to
And
develop.
Dean.
Dean, everybody, you know how we were. Just like you said, you know how we is with players. We let them develop.
Man. So what I see, and plus we don't necessarily run a scheme that requires one player to take a position. Like we put players in rotation, and as long as the money makes sense, we gonna keep as many fresh bodies on the D line as possible. So
And I
as
think,
long as he don't go out here and get 12 sacks and have a career season, he
right.
probably end up coming back.
And I think this though, year two under Fangio, we're gonna see what we got in Jordan Davis. Because one, I think he was just gonna take time to develop anyway. But if you go back and look at Jordan Davis last season, I think he found something in that conditioning that he did, and I think,
Mhm.
and I heard him already talking about he been still conditioning during the off season. So boom, you gotta think the season he had, the off season he probably having, and then he come back into this new season like this gonna be the best Jordan Davis we done seen. Like everybody want to go off last year Jordan Davis. Last year Jordan Davis then grew up some more. So we
Mhm.
gonna have a better Jordan Davis this year. So it depends on, he could, like you said, he might go out there and price himself out and have to go somewhere else. Or he might go out there and do just enough and we bring him back. But as far as picking up his fifth year option or not, if I was Philly, I probably would pick his fifth year option up.
Yeah. Unless it's something that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um he just fit. He got a whole bunch of his dogs with him from college, and they just mesh.
Exactly. That's another thing too. That chemistry that them Georgia boys got. Like Jordan Davis play a role with that as well.
Mhm.
I'll pick his fifth year option up just on that. And then if he got to go after that, then it is what it is. But we'll
Mhm.
know, cause if you got a player for their first 4 5 years, you know what I'm saying, pretty much what you
Mhm.
got out of him. And if you can't get it out of him, let him go somewhere else. If he end up getting off somewhere else, hey, he wasn't meant
So
to
be
be
it.
in Philly. He wasn't meant to be in Philly. But he been doing what we needed him to do. So I don't feel no type of way about Jordan Davis. I like him.
Me neither. Me neither. But after Ty, we actually we actually get 3 5th-round picks. The first of which is Mac McWilliams, which is a cornerback out of UCF. again, one of those guys for me that didn't necessarily like have a big name, but when I went back to watch the tape, for one, it was a position of need with Slay
Mm-hmm.
leaving. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to get some bodies in there to have some competition to see, who gonna win that spot. I really like his tape. He athletic, solid ball skills. I see him being one of them depth pieces for us on at the cornerback position, and if he show out, maybe a starting position. Um,
A guy like
definitely,
him,
huh?
I was gonna say a guy like him, he got to go out there and make a name on special teams.
hmm Unless he just start having an amazing camp, you
Yeah,
know,
he could do that
he
too.
always he always got the ability to do that. But
Yep.
Mogul said, as far as safety goes, do we pick up Simmons? Um, I could go either way.
Yeah.
If we
I was about
pick
to
up
say
if
something.
we pick up Simmons, I wouldn't be mad at pick up Simmons and just let stay young. I wouldn't be mad at that either. I'm just gonna default to whatever Vic choose, Vic Fangio. Because if he feel like he not getting enough out of the position, then Simmons gonna be there. Um, yeah, otherwise we just gonna go with what we got in the building. Well,
I
how you
agree.
feel about
I
Simmons?
pretty much was about to say the same thing. Like I'm not gonna be mad if we go get him, and I'm not gonna be mad if we don't go get him. Now, the only thing that I always try to preach is, or I always have in my mind is depth. You gotta understand,
hmm
like, if somebody go down, who's the next man up, and who's the next man up behind him. So if Sidney Brown end up being a starter, then the next guy is Makuba. What if Makuba go down? Like we don't want
Yeah.
to. Not saying that we got to have three starters on the roster, but we got to keep that in mind. Like the depth that we have, because all it takes is for one person to go down. So I don't really. But we do got the other safety that we had from last year that got in the Ravens game that dropped the interception at the, I forgot his name, but he dropped the interception at the end of the game. He got in like another game too, I think. Um,
I
but
can't
yeah, we
think of
got
his
him as
name either.
well. He probably take another step, and he was. I mean, for him to be the next man up last year, I mean, I'm expecting him to take a good, a nice little step too. I can't remember his name, um, but I'm expecting him to do something this year too as well. Y'all know my favorite safety on the team, even when CJ was there, was Reed Blankenship.
Yeah, Ed Reed Blankenship. That's what we
Ed Reed,
call him.
dude, that's my favorite guy on my not my favorite guy, but my favorite safety on the team, and one of my favorite players.
So we got an interesting pick. So our second, fifth round pick was Smile London Jr., linebacker
That
out
might
of
be my
Georgia.
favorite. That might be my favorite pick.
Hey, so he has a prototypical build of a cover linebacker. Plus, he know how to rush the quarterback. Um, I like this pick.
I feel like that's an underrated pickup, man.
Anytime we can get a Philly dog, it can't do nothing but help the chemistry on the team. Them boys, are pretty much the new age Alabama. Alabama for the longest time was running stuff in the NCAA, going back and forth to national championship after national championship, and obviously they had the best roster. That kind of the guard changed a little bit with now being Georgia, and we just keep picking from the well. It's been working so far, so why not keep it up? He fell to us in the fifth round. Definitely seemed like he gonna be able to contribute on special teams, and if he have a good camp, who knows? He might get some burn. For day one. How you feel about him?
Man, like I said, he might be my favorite pick. I'm telling you, I've been watching. I've been watching. That's why I can't get a Ty Robinson take. I've been watching Small Monday, bro. I like him. I like Buddy, bro. Like, cause you gotta think about it. Kobe Dean gonna be hurt. We do got Trot. Old boy. What's his name? Campbell.
hmm
We don't know how long he gonna be injured. So even he probably might miss a little camp or something. I don't know.
Right.
That's gonna give Monday time to. And he
Get
already,
his
if
feet.
you watch his tape, he got the instincts. He got the
Mm-hmm.
pedigree and it came from Georgia. I'm telling you. And then, I mean, you mess around and get somebody like that on the field, can't get him off. And they gonna throw Jihad to he gonna be over there rotating with Nolan or something. I'm
Or
trying to tell
coming
you.
off the edge. Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling you, bro. Smile, man. I'm telling you, he probably my favorite pick. He probably my favorite pick.
uh so far at this point in the draft, how it cooking. So if you think we did our first 5 picks in the draft straight defense. And not only was it straight defense, it's players that could potentially bust a grape from the first snap. And like you said, Jahad coming into it banged up. N'Kobe Dean coming into the offseason banged up. So that's gonna give Trotter and Smile Money some snaps that they wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
normally get. So
Mm-hmm.
what they do with them snaps, we gonna see. But
Mm-hmm.
Mogul said talking about the secondary, what about Eli Rick shooting his shot
With Trump, dog.
at Trump's daughter?
I
So
ain't see
before we
that.
even get to that, I'm glad you touched on that, Mogul, because I think they blowing this whole
Jalen
White
Hurts.
House thing out of
Yeah.
proportion because they
Wait.
mad at Hurts for not going. The other half mad at Saquon for going and playing golf with Trump. I think neither one of them matter. If you want to
It
go,
don't.
go. If you don't. It shouldn't even
I
have been no story.
exactly. I went advocating for either one. Like,
Either
hey, if you
one.
don't want to go, don't go. If you want to go, hey, roll to. Cause I mean, I understand both sides of it.
Facts.
I
From
understand both
from
sides of
her
it.
standpoint, the man just got married. He probably want to spend some time with his wife because he know he about to be back to work in a couple of days or a week or two. So, you know, even if he didn't have the marriage thing going on, if he didn't want to go, he just didn't want to go. So I
Yeah,
mean,
they trying to make the man obligated to go because when you the leader, the quarterback of the team, blah blah blah. Hey, how about y'all comment in the comments, put yourself in a position to get to the White House, and then you just go to the White House. How about that? Or shut the look. Yeah, people want to make a story out of anything. Anybody who mad at Hurts for going was already gonna be mad at Hurts for something.
hmm
Anybody who mad at Saquon for going, I don't know what the hell they mad at Saquon for going for.
Yeah, well,
And then
you
you gotta
know,
think about it. So even the Saquon thing. Let me say this too. First off, we already know everybody already knows Saquon personality.
hmm
Second of all, Saquon, he has a daughter, and if you watch how he has kids, but if you watch how he interact with his daughter and stuff like that, I can see Saquon going just to like be able to tell his daughter he went to the White House. Like,
hmm
Daddy, you going to the White House? You know what? Let me go to the White House because you know what I'm saying? That's something
hmm
nobody in our family ain't been to.
Experience.
I can see him going to the White House just like for his like for his kids type
Yeah.
thing. You know what I'm saying? I can see he that type of person. So I can see him going just for that. Not saying that's the reason that he went, but people don't know why a lot of people do what they do. Like people just guessing why Jalen Hurts didn't go to the White House. They don't, bro. Mama could have been sick and it ain't even got out yet or something. Like y'all don't ever. People don't
You
even
never
really
know.
know like why people do or don't do what they do. We don't know why Saquon went to the White House. We don't know why Jalen Hurts didn't go. And Jalen Hurts wasn't the only one who didn't go.
Facts.
And Saquon wasn't the only one who went. So I mean,
Crazy. But as far as Rick shooting his shot, hey man, if she wink, you know what the rest is. If she must have winked. So I mean, shoot, if you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
hey, look, so it's a video going around talking about this is why Jalen Hurts didn't go to the White House. He was at damn, Frankie Beverly concert. At the end of the day, and then they showing like a little clip. First of all, that clip could be old. Second of all,
Could
even
be
if it ain't old, we still don't know that's the exact reason why.
right.
That he could have just already decided he wasn't going to the White House and then decide he was going to go to the concert later. Like we gotta stop trying to create narratives for other people's lives and stories that we 100% don't know. Like until Jalen Hurts comes say I had other plans or blah 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 blah, we gotta just Take everything else with a grain of salt.
Second, if he wanted
Or
to
we could
go
just
to the damn concert
or we could
instead of
just
the
mind
White
our
House,
business.
go ahead.
Exactly. Or we could just mind our business.
There you go.
Like this,
That's the
this ain't
easiest
nothing
thing to do.
football related. When the game come on, the man just need to be balling out.
Hmm. Man, so
But
like
yeah,
I said, at this point,
That smile Monday pick, man. Look, did you go look at his film?
yeah,
The man a dog, man.
yeah,
And then I was so just like I was, and I kind of had already, I just by him being a Georgia, I had already heard his name a few
right.
times. So boom, when we got him, because I kind of wanted him, and then when we got him, I was like, dang, he was still, well, because we
Still on
got
the
him in the
board.
fifth round, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was
and
like,
not
dang, he was
even our
still on the
first
board.
first pick.
Yeah, and so then I was looking into some of his stuff. It was a lot of people that was like, dang, we was expecting Smile Monday to go like third round, second, third round. He lasted to the fifth round. So I'm like, same thing I was thinking, because even me just looking at his tape, there's no way this dude made it to the fifth round. Like, and I heard a few people saying like they feel like he was undersized a little bit as far as like I guess weight. I don't know, but all I know is we got this man in the fifth round, and I'm saying this now. We got this man in the fifth round. When he started going off in these games, people gonna be like, well, making it seem like they knew he was gonna be a dog. There
Right.
ain't nobody talking about him. Cause that's what they do. They act like when we drafted all them other players, nobody was. As soon as we start winning games, well, y'all got everybody. Y'all wasn't saying that when the season started. Come
When
on,
the
man.
season started, they told me Saquon was washed. They told me that Hurts wasn't that good. They told me AJ wasn't the number one wide receiver. They told me Smitty wasn't the number one wide receiver.
Too small.
Um, well, our offensive coordinator,
CJ
he wasn't
GJ.
gonna bust no grape. Vic was old. His system was outdated. The
What?
league caught up with it.
Yep, that's exactly what they were saying about Fangio.
We was hearing all this at the beginning, and then at the end of the year, we loaded. All right. So with our first 5 picks, we done went straight defense.
Straight defense.
Then, I mean, if our first 5 picks was the whole draft for us, I'd have been good with that. But we had 5 more, and you knew we was gonna have to go with some old linemen.
Hold on, let
It
me
wouldn't
say
have
this
been
real quick. Before we get into those next little batch of players, when we was in the first round when we got Jihaad, I forgot to mention this. That cornerback, it was a cornerback that went like right before the dude with the locks. You know what I'm talking about?
cornerback before we got Jihaad.
Yeah, cornerback went off the board like maybe the pick before, or maybe 2 picks before. Was it Detroit?
Nah, Detroit
It
went
was
with
a
the
matter of
tackle.
fact, it was a clip of him going around like they was like, dang, he was dapping everybody else up who got picked before him. Did you see that?
Oh, you talking about the safety out of Kentucky?
Nah, I don't think he was a safety. I think he was a cornerback.
Not safety. The cornerback out of Kentucky.
He might have been out of
I
Kentucky.
can't think.
With
I
dude with the
can't
locks,
think of
he
his
had like
name.
glasses on or something.
Yeah, it was a cornerback out of
I
Kentucky.
I didn't know who Jihaad was, but I knew who he was.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at the board, I was like, I kind of want him, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. I think he's gonna be a dog in the league for real. But we'll see. But I just wanted to put that out there that I kind of had wanted, buddy. But I like at the time I didn't know who Jihaad was, so we looked him up, and then I was like, I was glad we got Jihaad. But I think, yeah, I mean, I would have been glad if we got him too, because now we got 2 first round corners on the
Mm-hmm.
outside and
And the
doggone
second round on the
locked up.
inside.
So I would have been happy either way. But I think Buddy gonna be a dog. I like his personality. I like the way he was handled. Like I like the way he played the game. I think he's gonna be a dog.
Man, I I our next pick. I pretty much don't even really look into our offensive lineman. Any offensive lineman that we draft, I just already, like we said, I already chalked that up. I stamp it.
Mm-hmm.
STU, Stoutland University. For
You
those of
know,
you who
Stout and
don't
Stanford.
know, Jeff Stoutland is the best, if not, he's one of the best, if not the best offensive um, line coaches in the game, and he been here for years. So all the success that we have can be attributed to the fact that he get the line right no matter what, from the first lineman all the way down the depth chart. When they come in, they play good ball when they here in Philly, and he got a lot to do with that. So anytime he draft anybody, I don't too much worry about it. I just let the best five win, and then I already know for a fact that the five behind them straight two.
Yep. And if they ain't, they gonna get there.
They gonna get there. So I don't need too much go over our lineman that we pick in the draft. We picked up a quarterback as well, which is a typical pick for us. We normally pick up a little cheap quarterback. Um, Not to say that he's not good, but we always end up picking up a quarterback in the draft, whether he's a camp arm or something that we can develop down the road. Because we can't just expect to keep Tanner McKee's, once their rookie contract is up, because they get expensive
Right.
at that point.
Right.
So that move made sense. Um, we picked. So we got a center and two tackles. But like I said, those pretty much speak for themselves. But our next pick, our sixth round pick, Antoine Powell Rowland, which is a DN out of Virginia Tech, pass rusher.
I like
He
him.
had 16 he had 16 sacks this past
I,
season.
I literally was just watching his probably about an hour before we got on. I was watching his highlights.
His tape. I like
Hmm.
him. I like him. He got a good motor. He got a well decorated background in college. He could be one of them rotational pieces on the edges. He's a true edge. Um so obviously you can never have too many edge rushers. And I kind of put him in that same category as I do the offensive lineman, just from the standpoint of I trust Vic. I know he gonna get him right.
Hmm.
We got Jalen late last season. He
Hmm.
ended up being fine. We got a
Hmm.
Jomo in the seventh round. He ended up being a dog. So it really just comes down to trusting your coaching staff. Like when you get certain players like that, and you know what the funny part is? Every year players drop for whatever reason. Whether it's everybody got their eyes on the known players, or whether they just got their bias against the players that make them drop for whatever reason, character issues or injuries or
Yes.
whatever the reason is that make players drop. I Every year dogs drop. So I when it comes down to it, I already know somebody gonna be there that's gonna be able to make a difference. So with that one, we talking about another contributor on the edge. He add depth to the defensive rotation. Real explosive player. Probably gonna end up playing special teams for us initially, but who knows? Jalis Hunt, I could see that being a similar pick to Jalis Hunt, where he end up, uh, you know, developing that first and then making plays on the back end. So at this point, we got 10 players out of the draft. So how we didn't finagle 10 picks. I I would say this is a solid A for me as a draft. We fill all our positions in need for the most part. We got our safety, we got linemen. We didn't get a tight end, but it wasn't really any tight ends to grab by the time we was able to pick anything up. Um, I really like this draft. I'm gonna give it an A. It looked like Don might be handling some business, but I'm gonna give this draft an A. But I appreciate y'all locking in with me. Y'all drop in the comments what grade y'all give the Eagles for this draft right here. I'm really Really impressed with how we drafted and how well we drafted, considering the fact that we drafted 32, and toward the back end of pretty much the entire draft. Y'all tune in next Tuesday. We're gonna have some more heat for you. It felt good to be back in the lab, talking that bird talk. We're gonna be here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you drop your comments. Let me know how you feel about the draft. We definitely gonna be able to come to you with the latest and greatest Philly news every week, every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host DP. I was chopping it up with your other co-host Dom, and this is the Down South Philly Show, powered by the Mogul brand. Y'all have a great one. Peace.